I am going to share with you a secret gesture. A simple but powerful movement. What you can do with your left eye. When someone insults you, or disrespects you. The best of all, is that you won't need to say a word. It is an unexpected gesture. Something that will take the other person by surprise. It is a gesture so shocking that we could call it diabolical. For with a simple movement of your eye, you can completely disarm the one who tries to attack you. That person will go from wanting to humiliate you in front of others, to being humiliated himself. Intrigued? That secret gesture is this. Before continuing, I would like to open this message with a phrase from Eleanor Roosevelt, that I consider essential. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Reflect for a moment. Have they ever tried to humiliate you with words? Maybe they have insulted you, or made pointed remarks with the intention of making you feel bad, in front of others. Maybe at school, at work, or even in your circle of friends, there is someone who with their comments full of malice, tries to make your life miserable. If you have ever found yourself in a situation like this, I assure you that that person's days are numbered. In this message, I am going to explain exactly what to do, and what to say, to handle this kind of situations with confidence. You are going to learn a kind of verbal self-defense. Something like a mental karate. That will allow you to overcome any insult, or disrespect. So get ready, because we're starting. The power vacuum. The first step to assert yourself. Have you ever heard this phrase by Victor Hugo? Whoever insults me always, never offends me. This statement reminds us that many times, those who are aggressive are not looking for a direct fight, but a way to impose their will, without exposing themselves too much. What they really want, is to find an easy victim. How they identify if someone is weak or strong? Very simple. They submit you to an initial test. Something we could call the power vacuum. This power vacuum is a brief moment, a few seconds or minutes, in which that person launches a comment or an action, to measure your reaction. Is a first test, to observe if you react with fear, or if on the contrary, you show firmness, and you make yourself respected. For example, think of those occasions when someone in the street asks you for a cigarette, or a coin, and you know that behind that request, there are unclear intentions. That is a way to test you. To see if you show fear, or doubts. Something similar happens in other environments, like school, or work. Maybe someone makes a subtly offensive comment. If you laugh, you accept, or simply do not react. Accept, or simply don't react, you'll be communicating that they can continue to behave that way. And believe me, they will do it with greater intensity the next time. So identifying this power vacuum, and acting accordingly, is your responsibility. It's not just about reacting. It's about doing it with intelligence and confidence. Below, I'm going to share with you the key steps to successfully handle these situations through my experience. How did I learn to gain respect? Since I was a child, I have always been a respected person. At school, high school, college, and work, I have never allowed anyone to disrespect me. I discovered that respect is earned in that first moment. In that power vacuum I mentioned before. As soon as I noticed that someone was trying to humiliate me, or test me, I responded quickly. My strategy was to be slightly unpredictable, and even a little hesitant. This put the other person off and made it clear that they couldn't play games with me. Yes, I don't recommend being like that in every situation. But when someone crosses the line, it's important to act. In my case, I've never been afraid of confrontation. And I think that has been key. If you think about it, most people don't want things to escalate. So staying calm and showing confidence is usually enough to gain the respect of others. Recently, I came across a person in my close circle, who, every time we met at an event, tried to put me down in front of everyone. It was subtle, but constant, until one day I decided to put a stop to it. Later I'll tell you exactly what I did. But first I want to share with you some secrets that can help you gain respect in any situation. 6 secrets to avoid being disrespected. Firm posture. Don't shrink back when talking to someone. Keep your shoulders back. And communicate confidence with your body language. Eye contact. Always seek eye contact. Especially in tense situations. Looking into their eyes conveys confidence. Kindness without submission. Being kind is important, But don't confuse kindness with submission. Avoid docile smiles. You don't need to seek everyone's approval. A forced smile can show insecurity. Respond firmly. If someone laughs at you maliciously, look them in the eye, and ask directly. If they dodge your question, insist. This shows that you don't allow yourself to be taken lightly. Winning energy. Always project confidence and security, especially at times when someone seems to be testing you. Continue on to the next message. The secret gesture that disarms any attack. Now, I reveal you the secret gesture. Simply, wink one eye. It can be the left, or the right. But the left one has a more sophisticated and mysterious touch. It is this gesture is as simple as it is powerful, because it completely disconcerts the other person. For example, imagine someone at work makes a hurtful comment. Something like, "What happened to you? You fell in a pot of makeup." Instead of getting upset, or reacting angrily, just look at them, and wink. If they ask you what you're doing, wink again. This gesture disarms them because they don't know how to interpret it. In the end, what you are accomplishing with this small movement is to take control of the situation. You can even enjoy the moment, and be the one who hesitates a little. It is important to remember that remaining silent, or not reacting in the expected way, does not mean weakness, but, in many occasions, superiority. Respond with something unexpected. Another very effective technique to deal with insults, or hurtful comments, is to respond with something that does not make a lot of sense. Like a saying. If someone tells you, "You always do everything wrong," you might respond, "Well, you know. The early bird catches the worm." This throws them off because they expect a negative emotional reaction, and instead, they are met with something unexpected and disconcerting. If they insist on understanding what you said, add something like, "Think about it calmly. I took a while to understand it too. But then it all made sense." This not only leaves them speechless, but also shows them that you are not willing to play into their game. Another option is to respond with another saying if they persist. For example, "So much goes to the source that in the end it breaks." Or, "Better a bird in the hand than a bird in the bush." These responses not only confuse, but also transform the tense moment into something almost comical. Attack their emotions, not their words. A more advanced level in this art of verbal self-defense is to focus on the other person's emotions, rather than responding to their words directly. For example, if someone says, "You have made the biggest mistake I have ever seen," you can respond calmly. "It sounds like you were expecting something different. How do you think I could improve it?" This approach shows serenity and positions you as someone who is emotionally mature. Also, it can help you have a productive conversation, especially if the relationship with that person is important to you, such as a family member, a close friend, or a colleague. The value of setting boundaries. It is critical that you lose your fear of losing people who do not bring anything positive to your life. Many times, we put up with disrespect for fear of creating conflict, or looking bad in front of others. But, is it worth keeping someone in your life who constantly disrespects you? Remember that you can't get along with everyone. And that's okay. Setting boundaries is a way to protect your self-esteem, and to show that you respect yourself. As a friend once told me, "You can't get along with everyone because you'll be a slave to their opinions." My final experience. Remember the person in my inner circle who always tried to humiliate me at gatherings of friends? One day, after several attempts on that person's part, I decided to act. I looked at her and said, "Hey, you know you look a little bit like that person I knew who didn't like to be compared." The reaction was explosive. She got really angry. And from that day on, I never saw her again. More than 2 years have passed and I don't regret having set that limit. In the end, I got rid of a toxic person, and kept my respect intact. The importance of respecting yourself. When you decide to respect yourself and set clear boundaries, you are not only sending a message to others, you are also sending a message to yourself. You are reaffirming that you value who you are, and that you do not allow anyone to treat you in a way that you do not deserve. This may be difficult at first, especially if you are used to avoiding conflict. But over time, you will find that it is one of the most liberating decisions you can make. Remember, there's nothing wrong with wanting people to like you. But you shouldn't be at the expense of your self-esteem, or your emotional well-being. There are people who won't fit into your life. And that's okay. As I mentioned before, you can't get along with everyone. And accepting this is a sign of maturity. Transform conflicts into opportunities. Every interaction, even those that start out as conflicts, is an opportunity to learn and grow. When someone tries to disrespect you, you have the option of reacting impulsively, or to turn that situation into a moment to demonstrate your inner strength. The techniques we've discussed, such as the secret gesture, responding with humor, or even attacking emotions instead of words, are tools that will not only help you handle these situations, but will also strengthen your confidence and social skills. Think of each of these moments as practice for improvement. Each time you successfully deal with an uncomfortable situation, you become better prepared for the future. You will learn to handle yourself calmly, to respond intelligently, and above all, to maintain your integrity. Make this a way of life. Respect is not something you earn only at specific moments, it is a state you constantly project. From your posture, your tone of voice, your words, and your actions, everything communicates how you expect others to treat you. Your words and your actions, everything communicates how you expect others to treat you. That's why it's important to practice these principles on a regular basis. Be consistent. Don't allow disrespect in any context, whether at work, with friends, or even with family. Consistency is key for others to understand how you expect to be treated. Be authentic. You don't need to pretend to be someone you're not to gain respect. Be genuine, but firm. This will make people value your honesty and your character. Project confidence. It's not just about appearing confident. It's about truly believing in your own worth. Work on yourself, on your skills, and on your self-esteem, to make this confidence authentic. Reflect on the people in your life. Finally, take a moment to reflect on the people you surround yourself with. There is someone who constantly disrespects you, or makes you feel inferior. If so, think about whether they really deserve a place in your life. Setting boundaries doesn't always mean confrontation or fighting. Sometimes, it's simply about walking away and prioritizing your well-being. Remember that the quality of your relationships directly affects the quality of your life. So surround yourself with people who respect you, value you, and support you. A final message. Getting respect is not always easy, but it is essential. Every step you take to build your confidence and establish clear boundaries is a step towards a fuller and more authentic life. Don't let the fear of conflict stop you from standing up for who you are and what you deserve. In conclusion, don't be afraid to stand up to people who are not worth it. Make yourself respected, even if it means pushing someone out of your life. In the end, the most important thing is to keep your dignity and not allow anyone to mistreat your self-respect. If this message has inspired or helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember, every interaction is an opportunity to be the best version of yourself. Keep growing and assert yourself.